Hello everyone, my name is Sean Mazerall and this is Nocturnal Writings. This is day 2 of the personal journey. So just going off from yesterday, which was obviously day 1, I realized that I am really not overly ready to write in short story form here based on what I'm used to doing, which is a script form. Obviously, screenplays are a lot more structured, you have a lot less wiggle room, and you don't have as much freedom, which in ways is restricting, but is also very convenient in the way that it's a lot easier to write. I mean, you know that there's no inner dialogue, you know that everything's visual in the action that you write, and then there's the dialogue. And then you give it off to the director to have at it. So now, in the writing the short story, it's very difficult because the structure's gone. You have to recreate your own structure, and there's all this inner dialogue that you want to play with sometimes, but then you don't want to play with at other times, and it makes it really difficult to figure out exactly which way you want to go with the story. I mean, realistically, in terms of narration, it's the first person, third person, second person, but you can go anywhere with a short story. And that's what's really making it tough for me, especially in this situation where I'm trying to really just let the creativity flow, and I'm still not there yet where I can actually let it just flow instead of worrying about all these sort of other things like structure. It's very interesting. With that being said, I'm going to try and really use a lot of imagery in this second day to really focus on very specific things so I can really draw it out, and then I can cut back later what I don't like. But right now it's definitely a difficult thing to do when you're just not used to it. And quite frankly, I'm very, very out of practice. So one of the ways that I've decided to work this new idea of mine is to join Camp NaNoWriMo. For anyone who doesn't know NaNoWriMo, that's National Novel Writing Month, which is actually November, in which you have the whole month of November to write 50,000 words. It can be short stories, novels, whatever. It's got to be 50,000 words, and that's the goal. In Camp NaNoWriMo, which is in July, it's a little less strict. You can set the goal for yourself and work from there. So, for example, I want to hold myself to a high level, but at the same time, I'm not ready to do the 50,000 words, because if I do 50,000 words, I'm just gonna spew out vomit of words, and it's not gonna be overly productive for me. So I decided to cut that in half and go to $25,000. I wish $25,000. So I'm gonna try and do 25,000 words for the month of July, which is still a lot in my book, but at the same time, it's not anywhere near the feat that is doubled in November. But I think this is a good way to start off for me to really get me into the groove of daily writing again. So that's about it for this start. And I guess I'm gonna continue what I've done from yesterday's work. Yesterday I had about just under 400 words. I'd like to get close to 1,000 words today. So we'll see how it goes and take it from there. Okay, we're at 1,246 words right now, so about 800 words today, which is better than yesterday. Today felt a lot better. in worrying about the structure a bit and in worrying about how much inner dialogue to play with versus the outer dialogue of actual regular descriptions and simple dialogue. I found myself really sort of staying with the plot and just driving the plot forward through the action. And my goal is to drive through the plot and then really sort of in the second draft flesh out the characters a bit more. Because right now, very thin in terms of character, which for me is fine right now because I really want to get the full scope of the story out and then go back into it. Whether that is the smartest way to go or not, I don't know, but this is me, again, just feeling out the situation, feeling it out as best as I can, and then going with it. I did find my creative flow start to go a little bit better today for me, and I was able to really see what was going on. And I really look forward to getting back into those scenes and fleshing it out even more, not just with the characters, but with the imagery as well. I wanted to focus on the imagery today before I started, but it seemed like my writing didn't want to do that at all. I wanted to go straight into the plot and work out the plot, and then I can put the images in later. But for me, this was a very successful day, especially compared to yesterday, which is great. So hopefully this is on the up and up, and I'll be interested to see how it flows through each day. But yeah, definitely successful. This is day 1 of Camp NaNoWriMo, so if I'm trying to get 25,000 words, I'm on my way. So it's good. It's good to have a goal, and it's good to be able to get a little bit more of this plot out. I'm really excited actually to go back and really develop it further. I think what I have is good in terms of the story, but I'm not sure yet if I can actually deliver it. And that's what happens a lot in a lot of filmmaking as well. You can write a script, but then you realize very quickly that what can work really, really well on paper doesn't necessarily translate to on screen. For me, when I was making my film The Basement, I found that happening a lot. Something that I thought would work really, really well in the movie, because it worked well for me in the script, ended up not paying off. And sometimes you're surprised by what actually works well in a movie when you're writing it, oh man, I hope I'm able to get through this part. I don't know if this is really going to work. But in the end, that's part of the whole creative process, right? Seeing what works, what doesn't work, how you can make things work, whether it's because of restrictions, be it a time limit or lack of money, lack of location, whatever it might be. It's a little different when it's the writing, because in the writing you can do whatever you want, and again, that's both a blessing and a curse. So here's to the end of day 2. I am signing off on Monday at 10:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Once again, this is Nocturnal Writings.